Hello, Star Wars and Unboxing fans. Welcome to another episode of Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing Show, Shelf Talk Edition. Alright, so today we're going to do another shelf talk about one shelf out of the collection. And this one, we're going to focus on this baby right here. One of my collector series shelves. Okay, in fact, one of my only collector series. There's this grouping here and a little bit up top. But I'm going to just focus on these right here. Collector series were the 12-inch action figures that originally came out. Not originally, the ones that came out in the 90s and early 2000, and they went all the way up from, I would say, around 1996-7 all the way through pretty much the end of episode 3, so around 2005, 2006, okay? Maybe a little bit after that, but once Sideshow started doing more with the collectible 12-inch market, Hasbro took a break from them all the way up until more recently with the very inexpensive $10 action figures that come out that are, the basic few points of articulation, and that's it. So we had not gotten more articulated figures in the 12-inch line. These are similar to what you would have on, say, a G.I. Joe doll. So they're really cool. Now, I have opened most of these, and they have a display place in the other room, and I will probably go over them in a later edition of Shelf Talk. But for this one, I wanted to focus on some of the ones that we haven't unboxed yet. Perhaps an unboxing will come. We shall see. Okay, so these are essentially a little more special because they are essentially what they call exclusives. Okay, exclusives are ones that were only sold in certain stores. Now, there are many, many collectors out there, and many that keep very, very detailed records on everything that happens here. Some people have asked me, Darth Tuba, have you kept a log of your collection? And the answer to that is yes and no. The yes is I did. I did keep a log of my collection. I had a whole Excel sheet all worked out, including price I paid, price value of what it might be worth now based on collector books, including photos, everything. And it was a software that I purchased that was especially designed for collections. You just enter everything in, and you can look at it individually, or you can look at it in an Excel format. It was great. And after about 2 years of work, I got it all, at that time, up to that point, I got it all inventoried. And then my computer crashed. I did have the data still saved, and I could reach out to the company, and they would send me a code, and I would enter the code in, and I could redo the thing, and after a little bit of load in, it would all be there again, which happened. Then my computer, a few years later, died again. Only this time, the company that made the software went out of business. And they didn't have a code for me, so I couldn't do it. And since then, life has gotten in the way, and I have not been able to do a full-out inventory. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't know what I have and what I don't have, although as the years go on and my brain starts to get old, I do sometimes forget certain little things. But for the most part, since I'm not a completist, I don't go collecting every little thing that comes out. I do mostly just the action figures from Hasbro. I'm not interested in variants. I'm not interested in a lot of exclusives. These were a little simpler to get. So when I did start collecting these, it was early on in the collection, and I was able to acquire quite a few of them. Now, I will say that, as I said, I do not know exactly where each of these come from. Or, I could look it up. You can look it up if you simply type in, if you're curious, you can simply type in the title of the figure pack, and it'll tell you where it was. Sometimes it isn't exclusive. Sometimes it was available in multiple places. That's why it can be confusing. But enough talk. Let's talk through them. So first we have the Wedge Antilles and Biggs Darklighter 2-pack. Now, I was really excited about this 2-pack because it was like the first time, when we were kids, if you wanted to recreate the Battle of Yavin with your X-Wing pilots, you basically had to get the X-Wing pilot Luke Skywalker figure 10 times and just pretend that each one of them was Red 2, Red 4, Red 6, Red 5, everybody. Wedge, Biggs, Porkins, the works. Here, for the first time, we were able to see them in their glorious 12-inch mold. And again, as someone who, I wasn't really a G.I. Joe collector, but my brother was. So, hold on one second. Okay. My brother was, and so I remember these growing up, the G.I. Joe style, and I just felt that these were really cool. And you can see with their elbow bend, holding the helmets, they are pretty well articulated. I just like the setup. I like the display piece. So I decided, rather than take it out of the box. I thought this one might look better inside the box. So we're going to leave that one alone. Slide that one back in. Next up, and again, pardon the dust, but that is what it is, you know, collections collect dust a lot of times. This is the Grand Moff Tarkin and Imperial Gunner 2-pack. Alright, there you go. Look at that. Isn't that nice? Again, Grand Moff Tarkin. I was able to collect him separately as an individual figure, but this one came with the Death Star Gunner, which I always liked. I love this. Look closely at the Death Star Gunner, and you'll see that he has to turn sideways. And why is that? Well, because if he tried to face forward, the box is not thick enough. So that's an interesting thing right there. But you know, so it looks a little bit awkward. But I like the backdrop. It also comes with one of those probe droids, or the mind probes that they used on Princess Leia. So that's a cool piece too. So I enjoy that. All right. Again, I don't recall where all of these came from, each one. But again, very simple looking them up. The only dust that's on these are on the top, which is good. Okay, don't need much explanation on this one. We have Han Solo, Luke Skywalker as Imperial Stormtroopers. Okay, it comes with their helmets. Okay, their full rig. Their weapons, even a mouse droid over the top there, you can see. Okay, so it's a nice little collection. Nice little setup. I think most of these ran between $40 and $50 if you got them retail. Okay, because they were about $20 to $25 each as an individual figure. So, and they have a nice little description up top. I think Hasbro/Kenner did a really nice job with this. Okay, moving ahead, we go into episode 1 with Chancellor Valorum and the Imperial Guard, or the Coruscant Guard, I should say. And I love the Coruscant Guard. It's definitely a precursor to the Imperial Red Emperor Royal Guard. Comes with a weapon. I don't think, doesn't look like Chancellor Valorum comes with anything other than his fancy robes. Not the most exciting figure. I mean, let's face it, he wasn't that much of an exciting character. I would have liked to have seen a prequel to the prequel, where we see how he might have gotten himself into that position of Supreme Chancellor, but we'll never know. I know there's been some stories on comics and whatnot kind of detailing his life, but that was all legend now, so we don't know. But again, I like the setup. It's a cool thing. All right, and then moving on. And we have one of the portrait editions of Queen Amidala. Now, people like to say, oh God, he collects dolls. And I say, they're not dolls, they're action figures. Well, this one, yeah, it's a doll. Okay, fine. So sue me, I collect a doll. But, I like the setup of it. I like the display factor of it with the window in the back. Okay, I loved this outfit. Okay, I'm trying to think though, was this really Queen Amidala? Or was this, I don't know if this was ever actual Queen Amidala. This could have been the Handmaiden, the one who went on to be in the pirate movies. But anyway, a nice little setup. I do want to point out something interesting. You see here with the episode 1. Now, we've talked a little bit about this in unboxing shows, but episode 1 was the biggest return to Star Wars. All right, there have been a lot of people that are like, wow, that Force Awakens, when that came out, that was incredible, the amount of hype for that. No. It was a lot of hype, yes, a great amount of hype. But it was nothing compared with a drop in the, well, I wouldn't say a drop in the bucket. It was not as much as the lead up to episode 1. Because you got to remember, this was the first Star Wars film since 1983. So what's that? 16 years? What happened with Force Awakens, that was just 10 years, which is a lot, but it had the original characters in it, and yes, but we never thought we were going to get a movie again. And then this episode 1 came out. Now, love it, hate it. I mean, there are people that are, I think, unhealthy, have an unhealthy hatred for this movie. Okay, I don't think it was bad in any sense that deserved that. The visuals, the effects, even the story, the music, the characters, there was a lot to love about this movie. And if not from beginning to end, if there are little things you didn't like Jar Jar, okay, fine, you didn't like Jar Jar. But, you know, I personally love the movie. When the movie gets on, I watch it. When I'm sitting at home doing, working on stuff, I sometimes pop it in just to watch it. Because I enjoy this movie. All right, I enjoyed that feeling I had in 1999 returning to this. And I loved the marketing blitz on this. It was crazy. It was everywhere. Okay, and the toys were just amazingly, every little thing under the sun had a figure. Every character, every little thing. Of course, I think it was a little bit overkill. I'm not going to say when it comes to the marketing part, I think they overkilled it a little bit. So everything went on discount. This was originally a $59.99 figure, which was quite expensive at the time. Probably today's money would be closer to a $100 figure. They had this on sale at KB Toy Hobby. I still had the sticker up top there for $15, $14.99. So that was a steal. I said, well, for $14.99, I'm getting that. So speaking of Padme, we also had the this is a little more of the regular kind, the ultimate hair Queen Amidala, where you could fix her hair and fix it up. I am in no way taking this out of the box, and you want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because I have a Princess Leia doll from 1977 or 78 that its whole big shtick was that you could fix its hair. You know what happens to a doll that has hair features? Yeah, unless you're someone who takes really good care of that or knows how to fix a doll's hair, which I don't, it looks like a big rat's nest on the head. So this is displayed very nicely. It has a nice little display of what's in it. This is one item staying in the box. No way I'm taking it out. Not so much because it's going to be much worth so much more in the box, because I don't think it is, but just because it looks nice. It's a nice display. All right, so this one will stay in like that. All right. Okay, what else we got here? We got, I feel like I'm getting ready to lose. I have a figure here leaning up against it. Oops, sorry, there. Sorry, I'll come to you. We have the Collector Series Sand Trooper. Okay? Another nice little throwback to the Collector Series is that, we didn't have Sand Troopers. We had Stormtroopers. We didn't have Sand Troopers. So, with the 96, 97 releases of this, I think this year is actually, 97. With the 97 release, guess what? Now all of a sudden, we're getting figures being released that we never had before, both in the 3 3/4 inch and this one. So it's cool to see the Sand Trooper with a little shoulder pauldron and everything, and he's got the little backpack if you want. Okay, so I kept this one in there just because I think I have one out of the box. I decided to keep one in the box, so that's this one. Okay, and let's see if I can get this. Okay. And here we have another princess collection, but this is Princess Leia with R2. This is the, unfortunately, kind of a little embarrassing. This is the slave Leia. Now, apparently, there's word that this has now become even more collectible, because apparently the rumor is that Disney will no longer be making slave Leia costuming because they feel it's objectifying to women. I don't necessarily disagree with that to some sense, but I always felt that Leia never played this character in a sexy way. I never felt that. I felt that Leia, aside from like the way she was posing in the first scene you see it, from that moment on, she's just pulling on that chain. She is like very much into trying to get out of that mess with everybody else. And what does she do? She takes that chain. I don't even know if it comes with the chain. I don't even think it comes with a chain. Kind of wish it did, but she takes that chain and she strangles Jabba with it. I mean, that's pretty bad. I mean, I think that's a pretty cool bad A thing that you can do. So I'm all right with that. But I love the R2 that it comes with. It comes with the R2 and the bar. Okay, but there's no reason to take this out. It's got, not only is it a really cool display piece just as is on the figure side, but it also has a kind of a three-dimensional. There's Salacious Crumb there hanging in the back in a little 3D kind of set. And if you look sideways, you can see that some of the paper came out. It's kind of almost like a pop-up book, so that's pretty cool. So the Princess Leia collection, there was a few of these. There was other ones like the gown from the throne room, and what she wore all during A New Hope, and this one and a few others, I think. So I like that. I thought that was pretty good. Along on that same shelf, we did have a few loosey-goosey ones. We had, and I might have opened these up. I forget if I did or not, but we had. This is where I placed Obi-Wan. This is a kind of an action feature Obi-Wan. He likes to be. Oh, and also with you. Trying to see what. I'm not sure exactly how he does that. No. So some cool features, okay, but a little clunky. All right. Nonetheless, though, it was a cool figure to keep out. So, and we have Zam Wessel, which included. You can play with Zam Wessel. I always liked this figure. I always thought Zam Wessel was a pretty cool figure. I didn't even think she was underutilized. I thought that she had a good part in episode 2. You know, she was the part of the assassin. First rule of assassination: kill the assassin. So you know, she didn't last very long. I get it. It was so funny though. Funny story. There she is. Ooh, little hair there. And then you could put this little mask on her, and then you can put this back on. And then you had your character. So that was pretty cool. A funny story, though. I met the actress who played this. She was at the one of the celebrations that I was at. And, you know, it's so funny. Like, I feel, when I go to Star Wars celebrations, I feel very weird when I see... It's a little different now. Nowadays, because Star Wars has become so much more of a popular thing, the actors playing any role there's a line of people going to see them. They do photo ops. I kind of like it better this way because I feel like each of the actors who do this, you know, they deserve for just, you know, yeah, maybe it was just luck. Maybe they auditioned, they got in. It's the only part they ever done. But so what? They're in a legendary saga. They deserve a little bit of attention and a little bit of respect. But when I went in the earlier ones, so like the 2005 one, that was I think the first one I went to. And I think that's where I met Zam Wessel, the actress. I can't even remember her name, I'm sorry to say. But it was different then. Back then, all the actors and actresses, you know, if you weren't Peter Mayhew playing Chewbacca, or Carrie Fisher playing Princess Leia, or David Prowse playing Darth Vader, if you weren't one of the really big, huge actors playing, or, you know, huge supporting actors playing the characters, the main characters, it's like your table was just empty. I don't know why, it just was. I could actually have a conversation with her. But it was funny because, you know, I walked up to her and I talked to her. I said, "Oh, I loved your role." And she's very nice. She said, "Thank you so much." And at one point I had asked her, I said, "So are you doing anything else?" And she just looked at me with this like sad eyes and she went, "No." And I felt bad. I'm like, oh my God, you know, this poor woman is unemployed now, you know. And the only way she's making money is doing these autograph sessions, which is sad, you know, because honestly, the people that sometimes they're, you know, you pay a little bit for each autograph, but, you know, obviously the ones that aren't at the top of the list, it's a lot cheaper to do. So, you know, when you're on a limited budget, you go after those. But she was such a nice person to talk to, and I just felt bad. So, hopefully she's gotten more work since then, and it has been a few years, or she's happy in another career, or what have you. And the last one we have on the shelf is Jango Fett. I believe this is also part of the series where Jango... Yep, you got your... I'm hearing a lot of like clanking in here, but it feels like there should be some electronics. I will tell you, just to make sure you understand, I do tend to take the batteries out. I had forgotten to do that with Obi-Wan, but I do take the batteries out a lot of times. So that's why this one's probably not making a lot of noise. But, you know, again, it's a very clunky figure, but it's very well detailed for you know, a less expensive, not, you know, not a sideshow toy, not a toy like that. So that'll do it for this shelf. I have many more shelves that I will do. I'm going to kind of be going back and forth between unboxings and shelf talk because this is just a lot here. There's just a lot of stuff in this collection that I haven't really ever showed everybody other than in a pass-through video. So I think it's enjoyable. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any other requests about specific unboxings, please let me know. I will tell you that there's a trip to Walt Disney World coming up where we'll probably have a walkthrough of some of their, you know, an updated walkthrough of the launch bay and a few places in Disney's Hollywood Studios that, you know, where you can, you know, enjoy some of the Star Wars thrills that happen there. And we'll kind of set up some videos with that and we'll share them with you soon. Okay, but until then, that'll do it for this week's episode of Darth Tuba Star Wars Unboxing Show Shelf Talk Edition. part 2, I guess. And make sure you like, subscribe, share, hit the notification button. Check me out on Instagram and Twitter at Darth Tuba. Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing page on Facebook. And email me darthtuba77@gmail.com if you have any questions, or just leave a comment on this video. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you.